Section 30. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Section 30 says,
Yes, sir.
when there arises any dispute
Yes, sir.
as to the amount of compensation calculated in accordance with the provisions of Section 29 of this Act,
Yes.
such dispute shall be referred to the appropriate Land Use and Allocation Committee.
Yes.
The point I'm making is that in your wisdom not to set up the Land Use and Allocation Committee, you in fact went ahead to violate another law. And that is, we received testimony here by the proprietors of Arewa Hospital that you approached them. In fact, the man said even Mr. President Olusegun Obasanjo came to his clinic and he was told that his property, for which he obtained all the necessary papers correctly and erected, were erected on water lines and therefore had to be demolished. He went and he conducted, he paid for evaluation to be done, and these properties were valued at 207 million naira. You decided that they were not worth more than 51 million. First of all, how did you come about your own valuation? Secondly, in view of Section 30 of the Land Use Act, don't you see that the appropriate thing would have been for your Land Use and Allocation Committee to have intervened in order to come to an amicable settlement that would be acceptable to both parties? Thirdly, the gentleman said, although you even offered 51 million, he was paid only 14.5 to date. And there was somebody at that caliber, that level, that whose property was demolished and he had nowhere to live. So my question, again, has to do with an unfortunate violation of the law. Well, the big man is here. You will have to weigh yourselves together. So anyway, by not complying with Section 30 of the Land Use Act, would you accept also that you violated the law?
Well, that's a very straightforward question. He has read the law to you.
Yes, sir.
You know what happened in this African Arewa hospital.
I know the case
Please,
very well.
please.
And I have told you, Mr. Chairman and committee members, the ruling on the applicability of the Land Use Act. But if you look at Section 29 of the Land Use Act 2, sir, Section 29 subsection 4, it talks about compensation. It states there how compensation should be paid.
Can you read it?
Replacement cost. I will read this.
Yes.
Compensation under subsection 1 of this section shall be as respects land for an equal amount of the rent and so on. It's not land we're talking about. It's buildings, installations or improvement. This is 4B, sir.
Yes.
For the amount of the replacement cost of the building,
Precisely.
installation or improvement. This is it. Now, section 6 of the FCT Act, and this is part of the reason, sir. We didn't think the Land Use Allocation Act Committee was necessary in the FCT, because the FCT Act has provision for compensation, section 6. It says, notwithstanding anything to the contrary, blah, blah. In computing compensation based under this Act, account shall be taken of any building or crops on the land acquired for the purpose of this Act. So, however, that any compensation payable shall be as respects land affected by the act, which is A. Then B, building on such land for the amount of the actual cost of construction of the building less any depreciation. So as I mentioned, this is how we calculated the compensation payable to higher hospital. He had two buildings.
So you are not excluded that section.
What are the way you count?
I have not finished that.
Read the whole thing. Read the whole thing.
For the amount of the actual cost of construction of the building, less any depreciation, together with interest at the bank rate over the period between the date of acquisition of such building and the date of payment of compensation. That is what our staff used to value his buildings. And we did not just call him and say, this is the value. We sent him the valuation. He sent his valuation to us. He said, well, your valuer used open market value. Okay, how much the building will fetch if it is put in the open market. The law says replacement cost of construction. Take our valuation. If you disagree with it, then just stop, because the replacement cost is very easy. It's quantity survey methods and quantity survey. Just find out how much the building will cost if you build it today. There is no ambiguity about it. And he accepted. Now what happened was this, sir. I authorized that he should be paid immediately. I said, this man must be paid immediately because he is a hospital. He is providing a community service. They came back and said, well, in this year's budget, we can only pay him 14 point something million. That was the first installment. After he was paid, an observation was made by the lands department because the valuation and demolition and so on is handled by another department, development control and resettlement. They do these valuations, and on the basis of that authorized payment, and they paid him 14 million. After that, the lands department raised objection. They said, look, these plots on this sewer line, because there are several plots there on Accra Street, were actually revoked by Jerry Hussein. They were allocated by General Jerry Hussein when he was minister. But as soon as building started, the problem became clear, and a memo was done to him. And to be fair to him, he said stop all the construction and revoked all the titles since 1996 or 97. So I said, so what is the significance of that? How come the buildings were allowed to be completed? They said, well, the system failed. But the point of that was, since they have been told to stop construction, the compensation should only be paid up to that point. And based on that, we now found that we had overpaid Arewa Hospital. Because we did valuation based on completed building today. Why he should be paid compensation maybe up to foundation level, but with interest compounded from 1996. So I called the man. I said, look, we have a problem. He said, what is the problem? I said, this observation has been made. We have overpaid you. You know what you should do? I said, refund the money that they said has been overpaid. I will set up an internal committee here to really look at the fairness of all this. If they allow you to build and complete your building, why are they coming with this? Because he built and occupied the building for several years. I said, you do that and then we'll take further actions like giving you plus. He didn't wait to come. Yes, sir. This is what happened. That's why the matter was never really concluded.
Nasir, like they told you. Yes, if we call you, we want to draw attention.
Yes, sir.
Also that you don't